Well guys, another bike for y'all. This one here is a CCM RAIDER 21 speed, of course. It's got the indexed or the gripped shifting. You know, first glance she looks at it's an older bike of course, but a fairly reasonable bike. It's an older bike of course, but she's a fairly reasonable bike. As you notice here with the rust and stuff, she has spent some time sitting outside. But all the cables seem to be free, so nothing's seized in the cable area. But what it's in here for is, I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but it's got a major bend in the rim. But of course, again, me being me, I have a replacement rim for it. But one of the other problems I'm running into is the grip shift from sitting might be seized on the inside. I can't seem to get her to free up. But first things first, guys, we'll get this rim changed over and we'll see if that solves part of the issue, and then I can start working on the grip shift up here to see if it's any good. So guys, pretty much you undo the axle nuts. The wheel tries to drop down. You gotta undo the brake cable to release it around the tire, and then of course it catches, almost certain it'll catch on the derailleur area. You just give that a flip and away she goes. Of course that rim is pretty much garbage. The hub is okay, but and the tire and tube are okay, but the rim itself is pretty much scrap. So guys, we'll drop this one in here now, pretty much reversing, you know, the process, and away she goes. Well guys, so I've undone the cable here, and you know, took the slack or took the tension off the derailleur. So one thing you have to watch when you're changing out back rim is the spacing between the cassette. So pretty much sometimes you have to adjust the derailleur to keep it from skipping. Now on this one here, it's reasonably okay, so we're okay. If we needed to, we can adjust this screw at the bottom here. On most bikes it's marked H, or for high gear, and pretty much all that does, as you're bumping the screw, tightening the screw, it pushes the derailleur inward to keep the chain from falling off, you know, this way. And if you're loosening the screw, just say it wouldn't jump down into the 7th gear, then it keeps, you know. So once we've got that all set, we can drop the cable through the little ferrule into the nut, and then pretty much set the low gear. Okay guys, so of course once you've got the cable run back through and tightened down, you shift her through the gears, shift her up into low gear, and as you notice here, it's kind of jumping, skipping, basically trying to shift itself into the spokes. Now in that case, what you do is, if you notice here, you have another screw at the top. This one here on most bikes is marked L for low, and you pretty much just give that a turn, and by turning it in, you're pushing the derailleur away from the hub, which basically allows it to drop down. Now pretty much that's a kind of a system of trial and error. So you got to keep kind of turning and cranking a bit, turning and cranking a bit. If you notice there, the violent or the force is getting to be less as the screw gets turned in more. So you give her another turn. Yeah guys, so once you figure you got her adjusted, you give her a test, and as you see, she drops right where she needs to be. So then you shift her. Of course you should be pedaling while you do that, but to shift her back up, you know, to shift it back up, you pedal her, you shift her back up to low, and if she doesn't jump off, then she's pretty much good to go. Probably not going to be able to show you the pedaling and the shifting part, because, well, you know, you can't hold and go at the same time. And yeah, you always want to watch, you know, the tolerances here between the, you know, derailleur itself and the spokes. If it gets hung up, then yeah, she's going to have catastrophic results. But that's pretty much, you know, one of the parts on the bike here. Give the bike a once over here. I just noticed that someone's either tried to change the pedal or they've cross-threaded the pedal on this bike. That might be an issue. But anyways, we'll soak this with WD-40 and we'll see what's up with it. So guys, pretty much, you know, I solved the pedal issue here. Of course, it was not tightened in. Probably was from assembly when the bike was new. But anyways, one of the other things I'm questioning if the bike is original or not is this quick release. Most of them had bolts in them and you could switch out with a quick release, but that's kind of odd, but whatevers. And yeah, talk about factory, you know, quality control. If you notice here, this cable is totally behind the stem when it should be in front, which all that does is put unwanted strain on the brakes. So yeah, to fix that, you can either undo it from this end or undo it from this end and wrap it around. But yeah, I gotta fix that now. Gotta figure out what's wrong with the back brakes. I think they were just unhooked because the rim was bent and they couldn't ride it. But and then, you know, she's pretty much good to go. So guys, let's get at her. Well, there you go guys. Pretty much gave her a once over here. You know, adjusted the rear brake, got her all strung back through. Adjusted the shifting front and rear, so she's good to go. Adjusted the front brakes so they work. Rerouted that cable, as well as you know, tightened that pedal. If you would have got on this bike and started riding it, chances are that pedal would have actually fell out, and when it fell out it would have stripped the cranks. Now luckily on this bike they're steel, so therefore a little bit harder to pull the threads out, but still you can do it. I've done it myself. I had a nice set of aluminum ones, however I failed to tighten the crank, tighten the pedal just so, and it actually worked its way and the pedal physically fell out and damaged the threads. So yeah, then those cranks were virtually garbage then. But yeah guys, pretty much we're good to go here. If you really wanted to, you could take some Scotch-Brite SOS pads and SOS'd up all the rust on it. But you know, on this bike here, you pretty much get what you see. I'm going to do a WD-40 session on her, make sure all the pivot points, everything like that's all good and lubed. And yeah, pretty much on to the next one. But guys, this has been a back wheel change, and I guess you could call it a tune-up of a CCM RAIDER, and it's a ladies, what I'm going to call a ladies edition because of the girl's frame. So guys, as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.